Central Queensland graziers have been benefiting from trees in their enterprises for decades. It's far easier to manage trees that are already growing on your property, as introducing trees into cleared landscapes is tough and requires commitment by landholders. Local success, research and experience teaches us 30 to 40% canopy cover in grazing systems helps land managers improve their water and nutrient cycles, resulting in better productivity and alternate income opportunities. When you introduce trees back into your grazing system, there are some critical things you need to know to increase your chances of success. FBA works with experts like Steve Elson to help Central Queensland land managers succeed. Because it's not as simple as planting a tree in your garden.
Central Queensland is a very difficult place to plant trees, mainly because of the highly variable climate, very unpredictable rainfall events. The best time to plant a tree is when there's a full soil moisture profile and the weather is warm enough prior to winter so that you get root establishment. The trees can chase the soil moisture profile down deeper before winter sets in. Then they'll be ready to start growing later in the year, or at least to survive the dry springs which we typically get now. In determining what species to plant, it's important to understand what the objectives are for the site. We look at the mapping of what communities used to be there. We look at the soil types and the topography and whatever remnant of trees and shrubs that are still in the area. From that we can work up a large species list, and that may mean collecting seed or other propagation material and actually growing them on in order to get the right species for that site. The best method I've found tries to maximise the amount of water that the plant can receive. Plant the tree as deep as possible, and that's about 40 centimetres deep, and leave a large well around the tree to hold water. Plant the tree at the bottom of that hole, down at 40 centimetres. There's no need to press the soil in around the tree, because what we're trying to do is disperse the soil into the potting mix around the roots using the water. Once the tree is planted and watered in properly, there shouldn't be any need to re-water unless the tree starts to show signs of moisture stress.
Results from research conducted in the Lansdowne Research Station, Townsville, have shown that traditional open grassland cattle grazing system is less productive than a grazing system of trees, grass legume forage and controlled grazing. The long-established paradigm of clearing trees to grow grass is acknowledged. However, the results showed more beef is produced with trees and a grass legume forage mix.
The study involves 4 science elements. The trees, an open canopy trees, a system where you've got 30 trees per hectare. Secondly, a forage system that is a combination of grass, legumes, forbs and herbs. Thirdly, a soil microbiome, carbon in the soil, organic matter in the soil, that you have mulch available on the soil surface. And fourthly is the cattle grazing system, a system where it's not continuous, there is controlled grazing, where the animals are on the pasture for a short duration, high intensity grazing, pulse grazing or cell grazing, and that allows for a rest period.
Within our carrying capacity, it's getting greater and greater each year. And the whole ecosystem is really working to help with water infiltration, to help with the nutrient cycles, to help with all those other components that not enough focus has been put on.
The animals have very high grazing intelligence. They know where the good grass is. There is an optimum level of about 30% tree canopy cover. That ensures that there is shade and sun throughout the paddock.
On those hot days, within those paddocks that they have, why should they only have a few trees that water, which then amplifies the nutrient cycle at that water system? So where the system we have implemented, it actually stops that from congregating in the water point and actually takes them out within the paddock. It's very hard to determine the profit that they give you, the trees. Our profitability within the business, our beef production and then the ecosystem all combined is what it is.
At FBA, you can learn about tree-grass balance, how to establish and maintain native trees on grazing land.